Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm going to tell you a little about myself. I was very shy as a child. It wasn't until my 40s I actually talked not in sentences but paragraphs. When I got to college and could pick my own clothes, I felt it was a wonderful way of expressing to people who I was without having to talk. And when my kids, I had two boys, and the first Halloween they wanted costumes, I thought, what a waste of time, a waste of money, I thought. Buying these costumes they'll just wear once. Well, it turned out it was their favorite plaything. Because when you put on a costume or a piece of clothing that's a little different, you can become what the clothing says about you. I think Ralph Lauren is a brilliant designer because he does relatively conservative clothes, but you could pretend you're a cowboy, you can pretend you're an aviator, you can be anything you want, that is clothes. You could dress up, you could dress apart and have fun. And my whole life, the enjoyment I've gotten out of it is most when I play. Doesn't mean when you're an adult that you're not allowed to play, because people that love their work consider it play. One of the first poetry courses I took was with the teacher I studied with for a long time. His name is Tom Daly, and he gave us an assignment that was wonderful. There was a famous poet who would adopt personalities. He would write poems in these different personalities. And so Tom gave us this exercise and saying, you can be anybody you want, and you can express the things that you wouldn't normally say. And I thought, really? I can do this? I can be somebody else. I don't have to be moral and nice and, all the things that I strive for as a good individual. I said, this is great. So I decided I was going to be a male gay fashionista in his 30s, and I was going to be totally self-centered. So I could write this poem and be terribly bitchy, and I wasn't myself. So is that liberating or what? And then I discovered that you could write in the voices of different people. That was a real revelation to me. I've always loved crafts and hands-on things. So I took a bunch of courses at Cambridge Adult Education Center. The one that I enjoyed doing the most was pottery, because you just could muck around in the clay. But I never thought I would be very good at it. I was lucky to eventually get to a studio where there was wonderful teachers and a gas kiln, and I could do what I wanted. It's very hard to get away from your own personality. So I was continually thinking of ways that I could do something different. And one of the ways was for me to work in different temperatures of clay, different color of clay, and different ceramic techniques. I would go to the Museum of Fine Arts and I would see Koryo Korean ceramics with wonderful green glaze and expressions of nature, and I could do that glaze. I could use that clay. I could use that method of firing. So knowing that I could, if I worked hard enough, get eventually what I wanted, I went for it. One of my favorite exercises was just to bring a bunch of objects in that were colored and nice shapes and build things out of them that would inspire me of what I wanted to build with clay. I adore going to fabric stores, and I adore looking through notions and figuring out what to do with them. Unlike clay, you just have a white or a gray or a red blob, and then you have to give it the colors later, you have to give it the shape. But when you're starting with fabrics or something with texture already or wonderful colors, it's really much easier. So I had the most fun making the hats. And I became as wild as I could making the hats, just let myself go. Wondering if I would even ever wear any of them myself. But I think I would. And I also love going to thrift stores and antique stores. you can buy wonderful old linen napkins that nobody wants because nobody wants to iron them anymore. What was nice about the napkins is they were already finished. They were hemmed. So all I had to do was piece them together myself into interesting shapes. Just trying to think what something else could be used for, because I'm very into recycling things. Curtains, for example, they're beautiful fabrics, and if you use your imagination, you can make them into something else. And that's what I made the Greek goddess evening dress out of. I especially admire women's handiwork because it was one of the ways they expressed their artistic abilities. And they would put a lot of work and craftsmanship into making things that were very beautiful. And today, nobody gives them credit for being quite as beautiful as they are. So it gives me a big kick to take something old and make it into something new. And I also love things that come from my family, things that have provenance and things that have age, because there's always a story involved in an old piece of something. It's my philosophy that life is a serious business. But if you don't have a sense of humor, there's no way of getting through it. And if you don't have a sense of fun, how are you going to get through it? So, as much pleasure as I can give myself by having fun, by not hurting other people, by just expressing something crazy or convincing somebody to be a little crazy or to laugh, that's my joy in life. That, being around people, making them laugh, making them see things in different ways.